The following program contains mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
You talked about your addiction was truly your addiction. You were codependent, and families sometimes try to solve all these dilemmas on their own. But you also had a big support network through all this, and I want to bring them into the conversation because we've always said on the show, sometimes the addict can't be the one to solve all the problems. Sometimes the spouse can't be the one to solve all the problems. We're joined now by addiction specialist Dr. Dan Headrick, as well as sponsor and life coach Tim Storey. Both of you have worked with Jason. Did you two realize that Jason had relapsed?
When you're so close to an addict, sometimes you can't see it, and I didn't see it. And this is my specialty. He's kind of kooky and a live wire, you know, and he's fun, and you couldn't tell. He's a performer, and that's the problem. I mean, all of us perform a little bit, but he's kind of an expert at performing. You have to perform and put on a show. If you're using, you have to pretend, you know.
And Dr. Dan, this far into sobriety, is this type of a relapse common?
Unfortunately, it's kind of typical. People usually get recovery on and off starts, and then they have a period of time with pretty good recovery, and then they have to test it out. They have to be convinced, and hopefully they'll live through that, and then they get 10, 20, 30 years. But unfortunately, that's kind of the pattern.
And Tim, I want to ask you, right now, when you look at Jason, going forward, what is your goal in terms of keeping Jason accountable?
I see it as we all go through recovery and discovery at the same time. So even though he's in the recovery zone right now, he also needs to be in the discovery zone, and that's living life. He's got an amazing wife, an amazing daughter. So at the same time of the recovery, I really help him to fail forward back into the discovery zone because he's very alive right now.
Jason, what has been the big things that you've used to replace the pills, the bottle? What have you immersed yourself in now that takes that place and is going to keep you strong and keep you away from going to that place?
Well, first of all, it's God for me, family, friends. But you know, my daughter, I mean, it's the whole family component, but it's in the friends and the support, but it's natural highs. Life has so much to offer. Your brain produces more potent chemicals than heroin. You just got to let it work. And I surf, I skateboard, I snowboard, I wakeboard. We're going up to our lake house to go on the boat. And I mean, there's those things, but it's the simple routines. Me and Ashley wake up in the morning. We do a morning gratitude list. We do our prayer. We do our meditation. I go to the gym. She goes to her meeting. I go to my meeting. And that's how we start our day. And it's funny because if we don't start our day off like that, and if it's as simple as we miss a couple things, we feel the derail. And we're like, we got to stick to that little, it's as simple as things. Life is simple, you know, but people are complicated. So that's the way I look at it now. I try to keep things very, very basic.
And we're not perfect. We don't do that every single solitary day. I just want to reiterate that because this is like progress, not perfection. I mean, we have to work every single solitary day at our own recovery in order to work together as a family. And that's what we're really focusing on, is just making it simple, taking one day at a time, not future tripping, not looking at the past, just sitting today. What are we doing? We're sitting at this table, we're talking. You know, that's really important. I mean, so many people just look to the future, look to the past. It's just, let's be right here, right now, and focus on what we need to do in order to get to the next task. It's important.
Well, I have to ask one question now that you're doing so well. There's talk of a Hills reboot. And so I'm wondering, now that you are doing well, if you might be interested in going back into reality TV.
I have to talk to my wife about that.
Good answer. I love it.
Well, I really appreciate both of you coming here and sharing your story. And Dr. Dan and Tim, thank you also. Certainly, if you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, call the Substance Abuse National Helpline at 1-800-662-HELP. It's never too late to ask for help.